Hey guys, it's Graham, what's crackin'? This is my second to last video on Shogun. Why? Because I am very annoyed with the last, I don't even know what the count is on chapters. I'll have to check it before I make the thumbnail on this one. But this book is in a frigging rut, to the point where either Clavel, the author, was like just experiencing painful writer's block, or he just got hit with a crippling bout of the hornies, and it was all he could write about. This isn't just some minor quibble. This isn't somebody being a prude and be like, oh my goodness, there was discussions of intercourse in the novel. Like, for a significant stretch of the book, we are talking tens of chapters, it feels like. The focus is on sex! Gotta be careful with YouTube, alright? But you get it. In the last 20 years, I've read The Lord of the Rings a couple of times, and for a while, my perspective on the appearance and the usage of Tom Bombadil was that he was Tolkien's way of expressing writer's block. He just comes in, he wanders, like he accomplishes nothing successful. The hobbits meet him, they leave, they get stuck, he comes back to help, they meet him again, they leave, okay, now we're through the woods. It wasn't until the last reading that I did, like a year or two ago, where I was like, okay, I've got a different appreciation for Tom Bombadil now. I'll do a video on Tom Bombadil later, we're talking about Shogun. But when a story just falls into this self-recycling whirlpool of the same thing over and over again, it doesn't really advance, it just becomes only that. My assumption then is that the writer was dealing with writer's block, but just kept writing, thinking that that was his way to get out of it. But this is such a specific and niche thing, like the constant discussions of pillowing between Mariko and Blackthorn. It just goes on, and it's detailed, and it's exhaustive, and it's everybody else talking about pillowing, and hey, let's have a discussion of the implements that we use during pillowing, and here's how they work, and here's the result, and we'll walk through a demo of somebody using it, and then later we'll have somebody pillowing like during the week, and we'll use the thing that we talked about. Like, it just goes on and on and on. And finally today it got to the point where I was just like, I was listening to it at work, and I was like pulling down the roll down door on the back of my trailer while it was getting to this particular point in the story for the 800th time in 10 chapters. I was like, hang on, I'm just going to put my head under the door and pull it closed really quick because I can't freaking take this anymore. Like, what is this? Oh my goodness. Anyway, there have been a couple of other political developments and stuff. There's like the odd chapter here and there with Toranaga and his half-brother, and they're talking about their political motivations and ambitions and anglings, and if you do this, I'll do this, and I demand that you do this, and so on and so forth. Like, I'm in a... Whoa there, buddy. Semi-truck just buzzed me. I'm in this like malaise phase with Shogun. Fortunately, I'm down to like the last 10% of the book, and so I'll be able to knock that out this week. But this is exhausting. I have a rule when it comes to sex in writing. There are two types of authors. There are those that write sex, and there are those that have sex. Judging by the last several chapters of Shogun, for a significant stretch of time there in the 1970s, James Clavell was not having sex because it was the only thing he could write. Anyway, hoping to get out of the woods here and clear it up. There is, the odd dramatic turn here and there with Blackthorn and Mariko-san when they actually like stop pillowing and come up for air long enough to talk about literally anything else. And it's all referring back to other things that have been covered before. Blackthorn's making his moves so that he can potentially escape Japan, but he's starting to worry now that he's cursed to never be able to leave. And he also had a run-in with his crew. It's been a while since he's seen them, and they've managed to maintain the Englishness and the Dutchness of their ways, the Europeanness of it. We'll say Europe. No, YouTube filters, that's not the word that you think I said. Europeanity we'll go with. And they haven't had the immersion that he's had or the assistance with learning the culture and the language and such, to the point where like he sees them and he's like, wow, you guys are actually like crass and vulgar and barbarians. And they're looking at him and they're like, you're selling out and going native. What the heck's going on? So at least some of the conditioning that Toranaga has subjected him to is really taking root. We're seeing him change. There's another complicated angle because his Mariko Tora is getting down, diggity down with Blackthorn. She's still got her issues with her legally and lawfully wedded husband that she's got to work out. He's starting to fall back in love with her, and she's cuckolding him on the side. It's a big, gigantic mess. I'm enjoying this book a lot less now than I did when I started because I'm finding it very difficult to root for the characters. And maybe that's me being a little bit too much like Blackthorn in the first half, where he's very Christian, very European, and these Japanese people are like, no, this is how we do things here. And at its core, this is a novel about two cultures that cannot operate in the same space at the same time in the same way. But, me being a Western white bread boy, I'm siding with beginning of book Blackthorn. I'm not down diggity down with the adultery and such, because he's still got a bride back in England too. So can't root for you there, broski. How hard is it to just, I don't know, like not cheat on your wife? Apparently very, very difficult, at least for the characters in this book. Anyway, all right, one more section to do. And then we'll be done with this beast, and I can get this monkey off my back. Drive safe. See you out there.